Good evening. I was hoping to do a how I do it video of the Old Favorite Jig. I'm doing it on my phone because we've had an internet outage here after a strong line of storms came through. So I'll just start by playing this jig slowly. This is an unusual jig. It has a lot of long notes in it, a little bit like a single jig more than a double jig, or some people characterize it as a slidey jig. I hear that Karen Hanrahan named it that on Kaylee House one time. It's also known as the Kilfedora, I believe, because the Kilfedora Kaylee band played it. So here's the basic jig. So that's the basic tune. Let me know in the comments if you want me to break that down further. I can certainly go through it phrase by phrase. But what I want to do now is just go phrase by phrase and show you how I would actually play it. To start out, I would start out, rather than playing that long B, I would play a B roll followed by a B, A, B with a cut. So instead of, I play. Now, when I play a B roll, I tend to put the cut and the tap toward the end instead of. That would be if it was in time. In order to get more of the swing out of it, I will move those ornaments over. Can you hear the difference? So that puts more of a swing in it by moving the cut and the tap toward the end. So then when I come down to the G, I just tap this F sharp just a little bit. It just gets a little bit of a slur in the first part and gives it a chance to really stand out as a long note. You want that G to just sit there. So the whole thing looks like this. Then in the next phrase, instead of, I play little cut on the E, and I'll use my middle finger. I use the G finger on most whistles. This is a Burke. It's an old Burke, and it will tolerate cutting higher. So I could even get away with cutting up here, but the G one works for me. You can also cut here. I find that awkward. And I do that on both times through that little phrase. And I also put a little chirp when I come back to the B. So let's put all that together for the first part. And then that's just a repeat the second time. So when I'm coming down, if I can, I like to bend that C rather than playing the cross fingering. It sounds nicer to me. When I bend it, I will usually bend to the side. That's just what I've practiced doing, but it also works very well. You can go this way or up. Mary Bergen goes up. course, she's holding the whistle like this with her other hand, so it's very easy for her. But she will play a half hold C wherever she can. It sounds really good. So that's the whole first part. I'll go through it one more time. When I'm repeating that, there's a couple of things I can do. So you can go down to the D and bounce off it, or you can play so you can come back into it that way by using a little scale. If you're playing with somebody else, that'll work nicely with the standard version. Thirds are your friends, and so are fourths. So you can vary it that way. In the second part, instead of playing, I'll play the only unusual note would be that wild note on the A. I'm just playing a G here, and I do like this. That A is a little bit wild, and not everybody would play it that way, but I like the odd note in there. So if you play the whole thing, so so the whole that whole first part of the second part would be. So right here, I'm just tapping with both fingers. Just gives it a nice bright sound. Now the last time through, you have those repeating notes. So what I will do there is, I'm just doing a little scale there. So what that sounds like, now this is the second part of the B part. So that's a nice way to play that in the second part. Now another thing you can do in the start of the second part, instead of playing the rolls, instead of this, you can play. All I'm doing there is playing quickly between notes. So I'll play the G. Sounds really nice when you play it fast. So that is some easy ways to vary it. I'll just go through the tune a time or two at full speed and see how all this works. I hope that helps.